Hello, it's Landon Nagati, a member of Long Island Cares and founder of Food for Thought, a place for people of all ages and backgrounds to share ideas and learn about the most pressing food security issues. I'm here today with a special guest, Brennan Rhodes-Bratton, who has too many accomplishments to list, but to name a few, she earned both her Master's of Public Health and Doctor of Public Health from Columbia University. She was awarded the prestigious Ruth L. Kirschstein National Research Service Award while at Columbia University, and she is currently a postdoctoral fellow at NYU with the Anti-Racism Social Justice and Public Health Group. Hello, Dr. Rhodes-Bratton, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Today, I would like to get your thoughts on the topic of food swamps. So let's get started with my first question. What is a food swamp, and why is it so important for younger generations to learn about this important topic?
So I'm sure, have you heard of like a food desert before?
Yeah.
Okay. So a food desert is similar to a food swamp, but a food swamp really looks at how to describe an area that is oversaturated in unhealthy foods. There's even been research at the University of Connecticut's Rudd Center for Food Policy and Obesity, and they found that on average in a food swamp, there is about 4 unhealthy eating options for every 1 healthy option. So, and you ask why this is important for younger generations.
Mhm.
There has even been research that looks at how far away different unhealthy food outlets have been near schools. So I definitely think that not only just because of where it could be in relation to someone's everyday life at a younger generation, but the fact that a lot of these different types of disparities in equitable access to healthy, affordable foods are rooted in things within our history. And as a young generation, younger generations need to be thinking about always kind of where do we come from in order to help us think about where we're going to go, because we're looking to these future generations to help shape a more healthy and equitable future. So I would really look to our history as to why these things are here.
It's a great response. Thank you. How do food swamps contribute to health disparities and the obesity epidemic in communities?
So there's actually been recent research that's showing food swamps have a higher probability of predicting unhealthy health outcomes than a food desert. So that's something that came out in 2017. So there's been a lot of focus now on trying to understand how to address food swamps in this way. Additionally, one of the things that I was kind of mentioning before about thinking about our history and inequities. So food justice advocates like Karen Washington really points to using the term food apartheid. And this is really to look at the political nature and power of which these food swamps or food deserts, or in general, food insecurity, where the roots of these things are coming from. And so it's really trying to capture the nuances associated with racial and economic injustices that we have here within the United States. And so when we're thinking about even the term swamp, right, that is a natural occurring thing within our environment, a swamp and a desert, both of these different things. So it makes it sound as if when we're thinking about these terms, that it is something that is natural occurrence. However, there are these racial and economic undertones that place these different food swamps in specific areas that are associated with things such as, like redlining, which is associated with residential segregation, outdated zoning laws, and other aspects in that way. So that's how it kind of perpetuates health inequities, specifically around food-related health outcomes.
Mm. So you said that economic was a large factor of this, which segues me into my next question. How does the availability and distribution of fast food restaurants and convenience stores differ from high income and low income neighborhoods?
Well, we actually see that these different types of food swamps or food deserts or food apartheid in general are unequally distributed, right? We're going to see these different areas that don't have equitable, affordable food in areas that are either have low income or communities of color. So these are within areas that need to think about, like, where is our dollar coming from? What are the resources that we have in this area? And unfortunately, when we have an area that is then inundated with unhealthy foods, and the options and food chances that are available are not very selective for a healthy, nutritious diet that is affordable.
So it's great. Thank you. My next question is, what are some successful strategies for transforming food swamps into food oases or areas with abundant access to fresh, healthy, and affordable food options?
I'm going to look to several different policies that I think we can start adopting at a local level, because a lot of these spaces are at the local level. We don't see an entire state that is all of a food swamp per se, or something of this nature. So I think it will definitely have to come at a space that is local and community organizing around these causes. For example, in Arden Hills, Minnesota, they require that any fast food restaurant be located at least 1/4 mile from another fast food establishment, and at least 400 feet from schools, churches, public recreation areas, and residentially zoned property. So that is using our physical space to separate between these different types of establishments. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, they have a healthy neighborhood overlay district that establishes a dispersal requirements of 1 mile between small box discount stores, such as like a dollar store, and exempting stores that use at least 500 square feet for the sale of fresh produce. So in that way, it's really kind of hoping that individuals will have more access to the fresh produce, and kind of in ways try to reduce ultra processed foods in that way. Calistoga, California, they prohibit drive-through windows at food service establishments and bans on fast food that have a formula for restaurants to protect against the small town character. There's also in South Los Angeles, they created a 1-year moratorium that permits for only new fast food restaurants. However, it's worth noting that this policy has been critiqued because it's not produced the intended result and hasn't actually reduced obesity in the city. So you do have to think about not only just making sure that reducing new establishments, thinking about older establishments, as well as what are some of the things that we need to do at a structural level that can help the individual choices of folks. And so thinking really about, okay, we can restrict the food environment in that way through zoning policies, through maybe increasing more community gardens and that type of engagement. However, we also have to really think about something much higher as to how expensive is it to afford a healthful diet in the everyday life of somebody. And so, I mean, I would almost say we need to go the whole way thinking through the farm bill and what is causing the costs that we do have and what we see on our plates in the grocery store. So it's kind of has to be both a top down and bottom up approach to really addressing these different types of ways in which inequity is coming through in our food environment.
Yeah, I think the government getting involved and applying these policies is really how these issues are going to be solved. So that's all for me today. Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, I want to just kind of say that it's the government, our local government, but it's also community and individuals like you and myself, just working together with individuals to make sure that our care and concern about these issues are heard, right? Because the government is elected, there's elected officials, and those are the ones that we really not need to make sure that they hear our concerns about the inequities we see in the food environment.
Yeah, I like how you brought up the point that it's not just the government, that we can make a difference as well in the individual scale. Thank you so much.
Of course. Yeah.
All right. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.